Hey everyone! Welcome from dark, dismally bleak, and often damp southern Sweden, where midwinter's night is oppressive in her completeness. So, I want to talk about one of the dangers of religion today, and it's a danger that is usually relegated to that of the monotheistic Abrahamic faiths, but also one who I see rear its ugly head from time to time in heathenry and discussions and circles of heathenry, paganism. Uh, that is the denial of science. And it's a huge danger for us today, and one of the biggest problems to mankind, in my mind, that we're faced with, not crisis of faith or anything like that, but the denial of science stands to hold us back. And, this is possibly due to ghosts of people's former monotheistic selves, but nonetheless, even the Have-em-all says that when you witness evil, you must speak out against it. And, so what was early heathenry and early man's spirituality but a way to explain things in the world that we could not explain scientifically, like the phenomena? You can talk about the northern lights as the Valkyrie shields or remnants of the Bifrost, and that's fine because that's where the stories came from, that's where our legends and our heritage is, but we can't deny science to uphold those views today. And that's why I want to talk about it. Heathenry and all forms of polytheism is nature worship, right? And that can not only be rectified with scientific knowledge, but they can lend themselves to be bettered by it. I mean, following old customs and old ways and ideals does not mean you must deny modern developments and modern progression. Heathenry can easily be aligned with science, right? To deny what we have proven and used to develop technology is an exercise in folly and makes me doubt a person's sanity, as you are willfully denying that which can be proven around us. And we are preventing ourselves from moving forward. If our ancestors gave us spirituality as a way to understand the world around us, then science has only furthered that. And to me, we are disrespecting the great pains our ancestors went through to explain things when they had nothing to measure it. And therefore, we are doing a disservice by not following through, using all tools present for us to build upon what they had started. Like I said, all tools should be utilized along the way to help us move forward. And the more we understand through science about the natural world, the better we can achieve harmony in nature, right? And I mean, see my little horns and my Viking prayer. I know I hate that word too. But what is heathenry? What is spirituality to you? Because to me, that's myself finding harmony in nature and complacence in life. And harmony in nature, of course, right? So if we don't understand the machinations that make natural phenomena, then we can't have harmony with it. If we look at what happens and how things are created, then we can understand better. If we are no better than monotheists if we disavow or ignore some parts of scientific knowledge. I mean, at that point, what's the difference? We might as well think that climate change isn't occurring. And I'm not going to sit here and say that we're responsible or we're not responsible or whatever, because that doesn't matter. The point of the matter is that climate is changing, right? Climate always changes. Nothing is static in this world. It might seem static for us in a short lifetime, but the changes are speeding up. And to not prepare for eventual changes, to not realize that we shouldn't be developing communities on the coast that are going to be flooded if the ice sheets continue to melt, or not to realize that, the climate is changing and we have to adapt our land usage and stuff like that. That's just to be ignorant of the science at play. Where I am sitting right now was under ice at least 3 times in the last 35,000 years, right? And it's been underwater. And then the whole world was together in one single continent. So we must acknowledge that and move forward. And at that point, some of the monotheists think that we can exploit all the animals on earth because they are put here for us to use by God as well. So when we start to deny science, or anything science, like if we say, well, that's fine, I know you say that there's electrodes and that causes the northern lights or solar flares or what have you, but I want to think of it my way. That's fine. If if you want to be willfully ignorant. But spreading that kind of feeling, it's a slippery slope, and you start to push yourself into that which now you can justify exploiting the resources on Earth without a care, because it doesn't matter. No, science doesn't matter. So, I guess that's what I'm trying to speak to, is that we have things such as trophic cascade, right? Where you put one animal back into a habitat, and everything changes. We know we need trees, right? We need forests to have diversity. Without the diversity in the forest, there's not as much health in the ecosystem. Without the ecosystem being healthy, we can't be healthy. So I wanted to speak out about this, and denial of science. That is not okay. You can rectify your beliefs with science. You can look at it. You're trying to find harmony in nature. You're trying not to affect nature any more than it is with your own spirituality. So let science give you a tool to be more harmonic with nature. So you can take your car and go out to the forest, right? So you can understand that when you're in the forest, the science behind the ecology that makes that forest exist, so we can spend time with the landvetter and the other whites of the land. It doesn't need to stand in contradiction with each other. And understand that the only reason people held on so tightly to notions of spirituality is because we didn't have any way to explain the world around us. We must accept that we have developed greater knowledge than our ancestors. We might have lost several things spiritually, but what we have lost spiritually, we have gained technologically. And there's nothing wrong with acknowledging technology and science, and that doesn't mean that your ancestors were wrong or that you shouldn't have faith in your own spirituality, because the concepts of spirituality are innate within us. They are machinations that emanate around the world from self, right? From ourself. We are nature. And to better understand our world around us gives us tools to better live our lives, to better take care of ourself and our own, and of that which makes us healthy, which is the earth around us. So when you see somebody saying like, yeah, it's fine, but no, I believe this, try not to condemn them, but try to speak to them, to let them understand that their views or meanings might be holding us back as a people. And we already get looked down upon in many ways. So to hold illogical beliefs like that make us no better than those who we are trying to distance ourselves from. So with that thought, I leave you all. Enjoy your own Nordic journeys, my friends.